What up? It's your boy Wall Street, back again. And today, coming fresh off of a natty championship, want to give congrats to the Florida Gators, because them Gator boys stay hot, man. And I want to talk about Walter Clayton Jr., the NCAA Final Four most outstanding player for the tournament, because he is absolutely a very, very good NBA prospect. And I think it would be a shame if this dude does not get picked in the first round. But ultimately, I would not be surprised if he does not get picked in the first round because of several factors. I think one is obviously his age. He is 22 years old, recently just turned 22 in March. And you guys know, NBA scouts and GMs hate a guy that's, older than 20 when they're picking in the draft, which I still don't understand. But it is what it is. But Walter is a combo guard, 6'3", 195 pounds. And he grew up being a two-sport athlete. He, played basketball and football. He wasn't really a, superstar recruit or anything like that in basketball coming out of high school. He actually had a lot more offers to play football. He actually had an offer to play football at the University of Florida. In addition, he had offers at Notre Dame, Tennessee, Nebraska, and West Virginia. But he originally, committed to Iona, which is in New York, to play basketball there. He committed there over East Carolina, Florida A&M, Charleston, Stetson, James Madison, all these different places. But not like top schools, right? So he's from Florida, and, he played at Iona for 2 years. He became the starter in the 22-23 season. He only started 4 games his freshman year, only averaged about 7 points a game. Started pretty much every game except for one his sophomore year. Went from 7.3 points per game to 16.8. He led NCAA Division I in free throw percentage at 95.3%, which is very, very incredible. And he was a great three-point shooter as well at Iona, 43% his sophomore season. So he took that big jump and transferred to Florida for his junior season. And last season, he averaged a little bit over 17 points a game. He averaged 17.6 points per game to be exact. Shot 36.5% from three, 43% from the field in 31 minutes per game, 36 games played. And then this season, in which he led the Gators to the national championship, played 39 games, 32.6 minutes, nearly 45% from the field, 38.6% from three, 4.2 assists, 18.3 points per game, right? And 1.2 steals per game as well, just to add. So obviously Florida beat the University of Houston last night. It was a very tight game, very awesome game to watch. That was one of the best NCAA tournament games I've seen in a long time, especially talking about the championship round. But Florida finished the season at 36-4, coming away with the chip. And a lot of people, even before the tournament, I want to say Walter Clayton was projected as a late second-round pick, right? He's moved up a little bit. I'm seeing him more in the mid-second round now. Tankathon, one of my favorite websites, you guys should go check it out, has him going 42 overall to the Sacramento Kings. But I personally think, man, there's teams in the first round that are picking, later in the first round, like the Celtics or the Suns or the Clippers. They could all draft this dude. I would not even think twice. If he's on the board and I'm picking past 20, I'm taking him. No doubt in my mind, right? I understand you might not want to use a lottery pick on him. There's some better prospects ahead of him for sure. But him and Janai Broom are the two guys where I'm like, it doesn't matter that they're 22 or 23 years old. Who cares? You draft them. They're going to help your team, right? And I think the fact that Walter Clayton Jr. is this two-sport athlete, it just is that explains so much about his versatility, his grit, just how he plays. And he's an amazing player. He's really someone that I think is going to do very well at the NBA level, regardless of what his role is, whether he's a superstar or he's, a bench player, it doesn't matter. He's going to give you 110% every time he goes on the court. So he did struggle a little bit last night in the championship game, but he leaned on his teammates. He's a team player. He wound up finishing the game with 11 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists in 35 minutes of action. But I definitely think he deserves to be picked in the first round. Again, I think by the time we hit draft time, people are going to kind of forget about, what's going on here. I think his teammate, Alex Condon, who is, he's more of a 4 or 5 man, 6'11", 230 pounds. He's a sophomore. He's going to be, about to turn 21 by the time the draft comes around. I think he is probably going to get drafted ahead of Walter. Although I do think Walter will probably turn out to have a better NBA career. It's just my personal opinion. But, we'll see what happens. We have no idea what happens until guys get drafted and we see them play. But Walter Clayton Jr., I can see it now. This dude's going to light up the summer league. I'm just telling you, whether he goes late first round, second round, or goes undrafted, dude is going to light up summer league. I'm just telling you that right now. I feel like so many people have doubted him, from not being a highly recruited prospect coming out of high school for basketball at least. I think he has that chip on his shoulder. He wants to win, and he's going to do whatever it takes. So I'm super excited to see how he plays at the next level. Again, I personally would take him in the first round. This dude is by all means an NBA player. You've seen it throughout the entire tournament. You've seen it throughout the season. He's a great scorer. He's a great passer, and he activates it when it's time to turn things on, in clutch time. It just, he has that second gear in him. So that's really what I'm thinking, man. I think he's gotta be a player at the next level. I can't remember who was saying it, but when I was watching the broadcast, they were saying that his tournament run has, maybe it was Kenny Smith, I can't remember, was saying that Walter's tournament run was very similar to Jalen Suggs, when he was playing for Gonzaga. And I can kind of see the similarities, the grit that both of them play with. Obviously, Jalen Suggs is not some superstar player in the NBA, but he locks guys up defensively. He's an athletic guard, and he scores when he needs to, right? And he's had, kind of an up and down career, figuring things out with the Magic. But, I think Walter Clayton Jr., that's a very good NBA comp. Very, very good NBA comp. I think Walter Clayton's a little bit craftier when it comes to scoring and things like that. But, again, I just think he's got that grit. And if you have that grit and you want to win and you have that drive and you're an athletic player like this, and he's not a small guard by any means. I mean, he's like 6'3". So 6'3", nearly 200 pounds. He's got all the tools. He's just got to go out there and make it happen. So I'm excited for what he does in the combine and, seeing what he can do, in individual team workouts and all that stuff. And, I'm really looking forward to seeing his name get called once draft time comes around in June, because he deserves it. Them Gator boys stay hot, man. So I'm going to check you guys later, man. Let me know what you think about Walt. Do you think he's going to be a first-round pick? Do you think he's going to be a good player in the NBA? Tell me what you think his NBA player comp is. I want to know all that. So let's talk, let's link, let's build. I want to see those comments, man. But I'm going to check you guys later. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day you're listening. Enjoy that. And I'm going to catch you later, man. Stay safe, stay humble, stay up. Handle business, stand on business. Peace out.